What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 20th day of November, and here we are sitting at about half a cent, $0.00534. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. 9 hours and 3 minutes left in the day. Before we get into it, I actually do want to refer to a post that I made yesterday saying that people like to crap on XCN, but in the real world, in reality, XCN is up 200. This was made yesterday, up over 200% since this day last year. It was up yesterday at about 0.0052, which right now we're at 0.0053, so we're up a little higher. From a year ago, as of today, we're up about 222%. The average altcoin, by contrast, I'm not going to pull up the chart, but I did pull up the chart. The average altcoin, by contrast, is down. Where? Hold on, let me see here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, compared to the others chart, the valuation is the average altcoin is down negative 20% since that same time. So XCN over the last year, today, like year to date today, not like from the opening of this year, but from last year, this day last year in November, is up over 200%, while the average altcoin's down 20%. And not to mention, we've had 15 to 35% staking rates, staking yields this whole time, right? Which means that even after all the drawbacks, you're still up over 4x, and the fundamentals have only gotten stronger. Amplifying the returns for anyone holding longer than a year. Okay. So if you've been holding since here, again, it's not that OnyxCoin has been performing well this whole year, right? Since January, we've been performing pretty bad. But since last year in November, compared to every other coin in the market, or at least the average one, compared to the others chart, I wasn't going to pull this up, but let's just do it anyways. Compared to the others chart, OnyxCoin is largely outperforming, right? We go to November here of last year at the same time, November 20th. And it's not that altcoins were moving up on November 20th and that OnyxCoin wasn't, right? We're still down 20%. OnyxCoin was moving up in November of last year. It just moved up more in January, right? So in other words, all I'm trying to say here is it's discouraging, and it's especially discouraging, and it's hard for you to have any kind of light at the end of the tunnel if you've bought between this point and this point here. It's discouraging, right? But we have made progress. We have made progress, not just in the price, but also fundamentally. The fundamentals, the prospects of this project are only more valuable here than they have been at all throughout the rest of this year. And nothing moves in a straight line forever, up or down. And I'm assuming that we are going to see some massive rapid recovery here. And the only people that are going to really be around to see it are the people who are invested, right? Because the haters, the trolls, the people talking smack, they're only doing it while we're at the lows, right? We saw this happen last time. Maximum volume here. And then they all dissipated once it was here, right? They didn't feel comfortable to come back out and talking smack until like this low over here. And then it's really been picking up ever since. But we've got some pretty high volume of trolls and disbelief right now with OnyxCoin. But the reality is they're still building. The reality is that the perps are, I think, being taken off of Binance, right? USD, they've got a perpetuals contract that's coming to an end as well, so there won't be any shorting. What's great about that is having perps but not having spot means that you're able to trade paper Onyx coins, not real Onyx coins, without Binance ever actually investing in Onyx coin, buying up a stack themselves. See, when an exchange lists a coin, it's normally bullish because then people are able to buy it, right? Typically, when a big exchange lists, you do get some selling pressure because the exchange has to accumulate a bunch of coins before they can list. So whenever they do list, they're no longer accumulating. Now they're selling off to you, the people who are buying it from them. So an exchange listing initially can be bearish, but whenever you have perpetuals without the spot, you're effectively getting the same effect of a exchange listing, but without any of the positive effects of buying, right? It just causes a lot of selling pressure with these perps. And I think that getting rid of that on Binance, if you're not going to list the spot, then get rid of the perps. You know, that'll be one less massive avenue, absolutely the largest avenue in crypto. It'll be one less avenue for people to short this thing, right? And make money on it going down. If there's no money to be made on it going down, well, we're going to have an easier time moving up. At least that's my perspective. looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, we'll see. We'll see. There's arguments to be made as to why it's bearish or it's not a good thing that it's getting delisted from Binance, right? You're getting delisted from one of the biggest exchanges. But again, I would be more upset about this if it was a spot position. The fact that it's perps is like, whatever, who cares? You know, it doesn't mean anything. Really, to me, it doesn't. It's just like whenever we got listed, it didn't mean anything. Whenever we're getting delisted, it doesn't really mean much. A lot of people were excited whenever the Binance perps were listing, and I was like, it's really not that big of a deal. If anything, it's bad, right? We said that. So this is the same thing. It's not really that big of a deal, but if anything, it's good. 1 hour time frame here, we do have a double bottom, a very nice double bottom with a lot of volume, and with this amount of volume, I am wondering if this is because of Binance. I am wondering if it's because of this perps contracts closing shenanigans. Not a whole lot of volume there, to be fair. A lot of volume on Coinbase, though, and a double bottom nonetheless. There's some acquisition going on here. Slightly lower lows. Double bottoms are great. And I've heard this. There's a theory. I don't know if I have enough evidence to back this up, but it's a theory that I've heard, is that if you see a slightly lower low on a double bottom, that's actually a better double bottom than a slightly higher low or a true double bottom. A slightly lower low is the best. So that's kind of what we have here. The amount of volume is absurd. The recovery is nice. Looking at the 1 hour indicators, overall the RSI is bearish. What's interesting though is how bearish you absolutely are, and yet you didn't really do much here to the downside. It's kind of interesting. Stochastics bearish at the moment. The MACD you're at a point to reject. You probably do come down. Let's just say I would be pleasantly surprised by the time most of you watch this if we were up and not down, but I do think that we'll go back down. Maybe we hold half a cent. Maybe we go back below it. If we do, whatever, it's not a big deal. I would like it if we held this level here, but we don't have to. Who cares what I like? It doesn't mean that we have to do it, but that'd be nice. 4 hour time frame here. Start forming higher lows instead of lower lows for once. 4 hour time frame, we do have bullish divergence on the RSI. We have a downtrend here, lower lows and lower highs, and it's like we're breaking out of it. We have this bullish momentum building as well. Let me see here. We've already seen the move really play out. Like this bullish divergence is nice, but to be fair, this move fulfills the requirements of that bullish divergence. Stochastics are nice. I think the stochastics would suggest that we have more to grow. The MACD would also suggest that we have more to grow as well. So that's nice to see. Again, maybe a little bit of turbulence here. If we are to pull back at all, maybe we pull back to like 0.05 or somewhere around there. But we probably do move up higher from here. I'm not expecting that we go below this low, at least not at this point. Daily time frame, the stochastics are beat. Oh my God, they're beat up hard. But we do have bullish divergence. Very, very... I wouldn't say severe, but very significant bullish divergence between these 2 points. We also have some bullish divergence here on the RSI and bullish divergence, of course, on the MACD as well. If we're looking at the XCN BTC chart, right, comparing it to Bitcoins, not versus dollars, right? Versus dollars, we're at about half a cent. Versus Bitcoins, you're at about 0.70s, right? So 0.0000000 58, that's where we're at right now. And we have bullish divergence on the daily RSI, on the stochastics. Do we have bullish divergence on the MACD? Technically, no. No, we don't. Maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I still don't know if this is bullish divergence or not. I go back and forth between saying it. But if you're red here and then you're green here, but the green is a lower low, is that bullish divergence? I would think that's bullish divergence, technically, right? Bullish divergence on the US dollar pair on the daily time frame on all indicators. Bullish divergence on all indicators on the daily time frame on the Bitcoin pair as well. I would assume that we're going to see some rapid recovery here. Bullish divergence on the weekly MACD and on the stochastics. These are the signs that give me the confidence that I need that OnyxCoin is going to come back. Okay, because again, just think of it like this, guys. Think of it like this. It's a puzzle, and we're piecing it together. Nothing moves in a straight line forever, right? Let's imagine that we are going to move down, right? There might be lower highs along the way. How high is that high going to go? And at what point is it that this, if we do make a move up, at what point is it that we are not forming a lower high, but rather breaking out of this range, right? I think it's very obvious that if we saw any kind of move here, this is on the Bitcoin chart, if we saw a move here that like went up to these levels, I think at that point it's safe to say that we have broken this trend, okay? At that point, right? It's pretty inarguable. So from here, from a high to a low, it's not that we can't break the trend and then go lower. We can, but just hold on. Hear me out, okay? Let's say from a high to a low, or even a low to a high. Let's just see, low to a high. We're at the golden ratio. It's very common, and let's imagine we are working our way down. I don't think we are. I think we're finding support at prior resistance here, prior resistance there, prior resistance there. I think we're finding support. We have bullish divergence on all indicators on the daily time frame and all but the RSI on the weekly time frame. And we have bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, right? We've got a lot of bullish divergence going on. I don't think that we go lower, but let's imagine that we do. Even if we do, we likely get a bounce from here. That bounce would likely take us, again, when you go to your golden ratio, and we're bouncing off the golden ratio, typically it goes between the 0.5 and the 382. Let's imagine we get the minimum bounce possible. We bounce up to the 0.5. First off, that would be a lower high, right? That would be within this range. I don't think that'd be a breakout, right? Even if it happened here, I wouldn't say it's a breakout. We probably could go lower from there, right? Let's say it's the minimum. Well, if XCN moves up 50% versus Bitcoin, if we're worth, let's just put this on right now, Google calculator. That would be 7 zeros, E -7. That's 7 zeros, 8657. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can I do that? No? Is it not letting me? Do I not have the num lock on? I do. That was weird. I was pressing 0 that whole time and it wasn't working, but I had to turn it off and then on and then it worked again. Anyways, 5, 8... Sorry, 8657. 8657. 657. That price, if we multiply this by the current price of Bitcoin, which the current price for Bitcoin is worth about 90.7K. $90,700. Let's just say that. If we were to multiply this assumed price, right? OnyxCoin is moving lower versus Bitcoin, on its way lower. It at least has a bounce here, up 51%, something like that. We multiply that, we put that in. I would imagine that if XCN BTC is growing, Bitcoin would likely grow as well. So putting in this price is going to be wrong. It's going to be too low. Ideally, we'd actually be above this price. But that would put us back at about 0078, okay, 0.0078. If Bitcoin's at a higher price, then we'll likely be above 0.008. And on the US dollar pair, that takes us, if we're likely going to, because again, this number isn't where we're going to go. This is like, it's laughable to assume anything below this. Likely if OnyxCoin pumps up 50%, Bitcoin might be up another 4, 5, 10% itself, maybe more. You never know, right? And with that, we'd have prices that are likely going to be above this line here, 008, okay? From the current price, that would then imply that we have, that's about a 51% move. Isn't that right? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. How are you gaining? Oh, it's because the Bitcoin price didn't gain. So we likely do go above this, right? Because again, XCN BTC, if it's moving up 50% versus Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's moving up as well, you'll likely see prices that are higher than this. So all I'm trying to say is from here, even if you are expecting that the prices go lower, we can at least count on a bounce that would take us up here. Now, what we want to see is something that breaks past this level. We don't want to find resistance at prior support here. A 52% bounce is nice, but we have some work to do. It's okay if we find resistance. I shouldn't say that we don't want to find resistance there. It's okay if we find resistance there. We don't want to reject from that level, okay? That's what we don't want to do. We don't want to show positive structure to the downside, or negative structure, I suppose. We want to break above this level, and once we get above there, that's kind of the first checkpoint, right? The next checkpoint is getting above 1.4 cents, $0.014. When we get above here, we're effectively breaking out of our downtrend. And that would likely correlate with XCN versus BTC moving up higher, right? Up to this 382 level. Again, imagine, I guess we don't need to do the math, do we? If it's up 130% and Bitcoin's at the same price, which is improbable, likely if OnyxCoin is moving up versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin's also gaining value, right? OnyxCoin's not going to be moving up if Bitcoin's moving down. If we were to move up, what is that? 130%. Likely, if we were to move up 130% versus the Bitcoin chart, likely we would see more than that in the US dollar chart. I would assume by the time OnyxCoin is here, Bitcoin is back well above 100K. We probably will break out of this level, this very key level here, at about 1.4 cents. We'll break out of that very key level if the BTC chart, XCN BTC, goes above the 382. And I think we will. I really do think that we will. It's very common, if we're coming back down here and we bounce off the 382, it's very common that breaking above the 382, we bounce off the golden ratio. Breaking above the 382 is the common signal to suggest that we are done going lower, that we likely do break out and move higher. And that happens to correlate at the same level that we've given on the price. That makes sense for a break of this overall downtrend that we've really been in since January or April, however you want to look at it. But I don't really have anything else to say, guys. I think I've said everything I need to say. There are a lot of bullish implications with OnyxCoin right now. We can go lower. Absolutely, we can. We look at the weekly time frame here, and the low so far, it's very close to this high, but I mean, maybe we go just a little bit lower. Maybe we have a flash crash, and we go all the way down to this high right here. But whatever, we're either at or very near the lows. The signs are there. The writing is on the wall. We do have bullish divergence on our weekly MACD here. We have bullish divergence on our weekly MACD on the Bitcoin chart, and it looks even better on the Bitcoin chart, and then of course on the stochastics as well. Every indicator on the daily time frame has bullish divergence. I can't help but think that something fierce is coming our way, and anybody who sold OnyxCoin at all between this point and January, even the people who sold here, might regret it soon enough. Because if you sold here, imagine you did sell OnyxCoin here. What did you put it in? Everything's down right now. Every single thing is down right now. And in a market where OnyxCoin will outperform everything else, it might have been better, as weird as it is, because of how bad the market has been, it might have been better to just hold through all of this. Like me, and like some of us who bought back here, and we never sold. We only bought more. I think that's going to pay off. And again, that's why I made that post here yesterday, is that the HODL strategy works, you guys. In this time, imagine right now you told somebody that you were up 4x over the past year, and you were predominantly holding altcoins, right? Like this at one point, OnyxCoin was my biggest bag. It's not now, and it's not because I've sold it. That's because it went down. Bitcoin Cash has held its ground, and that was my number 2. Bitcoin Cash is number 1. Before this thing took off, Bitcoin Cash was my number 1. This was like my number 8, and then it took off, and it became my number 1. We've added to it, so it's my number 2 now, even as it's come down. But all I'm trying to say is, imagine telling people, yes, I've been holding an altcoin for the past year, and I'm up 4x. Now, today, after all the turmoil that crypto and altcoins have suffered over the past month and a half, that's pretty impressive, I think. I think, and maybe I'm crazy, I think it's impressive that with the return on investment and with the return of the yield from your staking rewards, I think it's impressive that anybody who's been investing in OnyxCoin and hasn't sold, you've just held, you're up at 4x right now, where the average altcoin is down 20% in that same amount of time. I think that's impressive, and I think we're going to see more of this impressive structure form as crypto and altcoins come back to life. From a high here to a low here, the expectation is that we go to 9.3 to 20.9 cents. This is the primary target zone. It does suck watching the price go lower, but the benefit is these markers move up. So if I move this back to the low that we had on April 7th, notice how the minimum target is now 8.2 cents, the maximum is 15.7. Well, now our target area has shifted a little bit more. We were taking the 20-cent targets off the table, but guess what? Because we've come down this low, 20 cents is back on the table, 21 cents is back on the table. And that makes a lot of sense, because this is our all-time high area. This is not our all-time high. The actual all-time high for OnyxCoin is at about 18, 19 cents. And it just makes a lot of sense, with this kind of movement, all this consolidation, we're going to see a voluptuous bounce. I very much do believe it. But I've got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Do your own research, right? Do your own research. Definitely look into OnyxCoin if you want to invest in it, if this is your first time hearing about it. I think that it's a very interesting and solid project. They've got a lot going on. They've got like sections, little sectors of what they're doing that could in itself be a whole project. They've got like 3 different things going on that I think could just in themselves be individual crypto projects itself, but it's all compiled into one. With their DeFi protocols, their lending and stuff, staking, and with their token generation capabilities, with their AI agents, and then they've got their Goliath testnet going, which they're going to promote the mainnet. There's some stuff going on with Goliath right now, and actually you guys can, if you're on x.com, if you click on Onyx, you can check out onyx.org and learn more, or you can go to goliath.net and learn more, whatever. But there's some big stuff coming. I feel like big stuff is coming, you guys, and we just have to be a little patient here. That's all. It's always darkest just before the dawn, and it might get a little bit darker. It might. I'm not saying that I believe we do go lower. I'm just saying at this point it wouldn't surprise me, right? And maybe now that I've said that, it's time to rally. But heavily anticipating the rally. Remember what happens, guys. Remember what happens for all of you that are still holding OnyxCoin, all of you who are buying OnyxCoin and buying more. Whenever you've sat through all this, whenever the price comes up and we see higher highs, remember what I'm saying right now, because what's going to happen is people are going to tell you this up here. They're going to say, you got lucky. There's going to be some kind of catalyst that comes our way that sends the price higher. You know, back here they said, oh, it was just a short squeeze. It wasn't a short squeeze. It was probably just a relief rally at this point. You know, just looking at it right there. But they're all going to tell you that you got lucky. That you only got lucky. It only pumped because you got lucky, right? You sat through all this turmoil. You're making your gains. You waited patiently. You staked and you stacked, and you just got lucky, right? That's what they're going to say. But we all know right now that this is hard work. It's hard. It is hard to hold through something like this, especially over like a whole year of just going down effectively. But the writing's on the wall. The writing is on the wall. We are ready to rumble any day now. Any day now, you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.